From Baluch, Australia, welcome to the GCN Show.
Welcome to the GCN Show, brought to you by Wiggle.
This week, as indoor cycling is being talked about more and more, including by us actually, this week as Ollie goes to check out the first ever Pro E race, we remind ourselves with 5 reasons why it's never going to replace riding outdoors.
We also have downhillers doing cyclocross, new bikes, and the latest chapter in Lloydy's continuing quest to go from zero to hero. Back to hero.
Yeah, I do feel a bit uncomfortable calling it that, Ollie, if I'm totally honest. It feels like we're misselling, you know, zero, yes, back to
zero. Back to slightly more than zero.
This week in the world of cycling, we learned that Elia Viviani won the first battle of the sprinters at the weekend by taking out the Cadel Evans Great Ocean Road Race, and Fernando Gaviria won the second by winning the first stage of the Tour of San Juan. Interestingly, that's the 5th year on the trot that he's won his first race of the year. What a record.
Good stat. We also learned that, quite unsurprisingly, trying to burn 10,000 calories in a single bike ride is a really stupid idea.
I am really suffering now.
Find out on Sunday exactly what happened because we have a feature on it.
I'm going to be blooming interested to find out, actually, because I've got zero recollection beyond about 180 kilometres. So, yeah, I'll be watching.
And finally, we also learned that e-pro racing is finally here.
Hi guys, I'm here at the Pinarello store in London for the first of the Zwift Kiss Super League, which is an e-sports bike race for professionals. Can't wait to see what happens, so let's get stuck in. We've got the riders from Team Wiggins are just setting up behind me, and the Zwift engineers are logging them into Zwift so that everything works properly. I'm here with Ollie Robinson from Team Wiggins, and he's going to be taking part tonight. How are you feeling?
Oh, I'm really nervous actually. Up against some good guys, but I think we should do well. We've got some good tactics, so we'll see what happens.
Esports is, well, it's very new to like professional cycling, but I mean, what do you think of it? Do you think that this is going to be more of this in the future?
Yeah, I absolutely love it. Like getting on Zwift and doing a race, it's harder than a normal race, I think. Like, because you push yourself hard, but I think it is the future.
A bit more information on tonight's event for you. So there's 15 teams taking part, including Wiggins, who are behind us here. There's 13 Pro Continental teams and 2 teams made up from the Zwift community. But these aren't regular Zwifters like me. These are the best of the best of the best of Zwift. Another rule that's important is you're not allowed to use a time trial bike or a disc wheel. You have to use one of the certified smart trainers with a power meter built in, so you can't have any inaccuracies or advantage from a overreading power meter, and riders have to wear heart rate monitors at all times as well, which is really cool because it means we're going to get to see all the cadence and heart rate and power data from all these pro athletes, which I think is going to be absolutely fascinating. 13 minutes in, 3 riders have been dropped already, and the pace is just ferocious. They're doing about 4 watts per kilo and getting dropped. We're just heading into the finish now. There's 400 meters to go. It's a summit finish, and although it's a diminished group, there's still a sizable number of riders there. Who is this? Bibby's going for it. Wow! So at the last 30 seconds there, it looked like Ian Bibby was pumping out 800 watts after having held about 400 watts for the 5 minutes before that. That's seriously impressive. That was it, the first round of 10 of the Zwift Kiss Super League. That, you can see it's been hard work. Look at the condensation on the windows. It's like a scene from Titanic. But that was absolutely amazing, being able to see pros racing and going full gas and being able to see all their stats and the power and the cadence and the heart rate. I mean, what Ian Bibby did at the end was seriously impressive numbers, but yeah, I want to see more of this. It's really cool, and it definitely brings something to pro racing that we don't see in the traditional form out on the road.
Ian Bibby there, the king of the world.
I think, genuinely though, I think it's an exciting development. I can't wait to see where it goes. I think this is only sort of the beginning of it.
Yeah, I guess it is the beginning, isn't it? It was the first one. Anyway, without we can state the obvious, an awful lot of chat about indoor cycling at the minute, what with Zwift and Sufferfest and Trainer Road and Peloton, to name but 4 of the big platforms. We're conscious though that all the headlines are being dominated by indoor cycling, but actually no one is out there sticking up for actual riding and how good it is.
Yeah, so, well, just in case you needed it, here are 5 reasons why riding outdoors can't be beaten. And we're sure that Trainer Road and Sufferfest and Zwift will agree. I'm not sure about Peloton.
No, we don't know about Peloton, do we? Firstly, the skill factor. The skill to riding indoors, mainly, I guess, about pacing and power transfer. 2 very important skills, but not quite the same, are they, as riding down a hill at 50, 60, 70 kilometers per hour or totally nailing a corner. Now, I appreciate those are 2 things that actually might instill fear in some of you out there, and certainly an advantage to indoor training is that you can't crash, or at least you shouldn't be able to crash. But that kind of leads us quite neatly onto point number 2.
Yeah, the thrill factor. This for me is a big one. I love the adrenaline rush and feeling alive. And while I do get a thrill from racing on Zwift or nailing an indoor training session and getting a power PB, nothing beats riding outside and the rush I get from, you know, going down swooping descents or just being on 2 wheels at speed or going for a ride with my mates. It just can't be beaten.
That's right. So, something for the thrill seekers. Has anyone ever described us as thrill seekers before? Probably not.
We're pretty rad dudes.
Well, yeah, okay, thanks, mate. But there is also some pretty growing, compelling evidence to say that actually riding outside has a really positive effect on your mental health. We know that exercise full stop is great, but actually the effect of green exercise, so exercising in the outdoors, so potentially then riding outdoors may make you happier than riding indoors.
Yeah, and I think a large part of that is the overwhelming sense of freedom that you get from riding outside. But also, I think it's equally important to ride, you know, in the cold and the wet as it is to ride, you know, in nice, amazing sunny conditions. Increasingly, with modern society, it's becoming harder and harder to connect with the outdoors, and people, I feel, are just doing it less.
Yeah, that's true, actually. Also, weirdly, do you find that it's nicer warming up after a cold ride than it is cooling down after a really hot ride on an indoor trainer?
Well, I did it this Sunday. I got absolutely soaking wet through in icy rain, and I've got a recent memory of it. And I feel that when you have a nice hot shower after you've experienced that and some nice hot food when you get in, you just feel you appreciate the little things more.
Yeah.
And it makes you happy.
Can I confess, though, that just you saying that I went outside and rode in icy rain on Sunday, I just went, oh God.
Yeah, I know.
I don't fancy that.
Yeah, I think admittedly I probably should have stayed inside and gone on Zwift.
Indoor cycling doesn't actually get you very far, does it? Whereas actual cycling, I mean, it can replace your car. And that would be a very good thing, both environmentally and also because apparently cyclist commuters make the happiest commuters. Apparently our speed is optimal for saving our environment.
Well, no, nobody started cycling to remain static. Let's remember, first and foremost, it's a mode of transport.
It is, isn't it? Hey, maybe indoor exercise is actually best for like rowers because staying static is a positive for them because normally they go backwards. So it would be a good thing. Although, I've got to say actually at this point, a confession. I do sometimes catch the train to and from work so that I can actually have fresher legs for a Zwift race of an evening. So yeah, I'm sorry about that.
That's tragic.
Well, I mean, I don't feel guilty environmentally because the train's going anyway.
Yeah.
I will admit that I struggle sometimes spending £9.10 in order to have fresher legs, but there we go. I'm competitive.
And avoid a triple session.
That is a good point. Putting on a chamois 3 times in a day is
the same pay.
Kind of, well, maybe sometimes.
I have to admit that my main motivation for riding an indoor smart trainer is to improve my fitness so that I'm better and get more out of it when I actually do get to ride my bike outdoors. So for example, I'm trying to get as fit as possible at the moment for when we go to Mallorca in March, so that I enjoy that more when I'm able to climb hopefully faster.
Well, yeah, because let's face it, Lloydy's kind of thrown down the gauntlet, hasn't he? I
Yeah.
think we're all a little bit concerned, just in case actually he, as we suspect, he's going to be absolutely flying. Anyway, it's a really good point though, isn't it? Because although we are advocating riding outdoors because we feel like perhaps it doesn't get the credit it deserves sometimes, the fact is indoors and outdoors are not mutually exclusive. They complement each other completely, don't they? We ride indoors to get better at riding outdoors. Personally, as a kind of an old school cyclist, I'm still slightly amazed that technology has improved to the point that means that indoor cycling can now actually be considered enjoyable in its own right, as opposed to just something that, was absolute hell on earth. And there's no doubting the fact that it is incredibly time-efficient training.
Yeah, as Lloydy is finding out. And interesting start of the day, right?
More interesting than Fernando Gaviria.
Well, wait and see, right?
Go on then.
Last Friday, you and James rode as many kilometres as Dan has done his entire January training programme so far, and at a higher average power.
Yeah. Probably less effective training, but anyway, let's see how Lloydy's getting on in his 0 to above average vlog.
Week 3, day 1. So this is session 9 out of 40. After consultation with Sir Neil Henderson, my coach at the end of last week, he agreed that I have got a little bit fitter, which is good news. So I have put my FTP up to 255 and 244, and my MAP, my 5-minute power, up to 320. Today I'm doing elements of style, only 38 minutes long. This week is an easier week anyway, basically to absorb the hard work of the previous 2. So, elements of style done, uploaded to Strava and uploaded to Training Peaks for Neil to take a look at. Must admit, that really made my legs ache, my legs ache, and my brain hurt when I was trying to focus on different parts of the pedal stroke. 230 watts feels reasonably comfortable at the moment, but not when all of that power, or most of it, comes in a quarter of one side of the pedal stroke. So I'll be interested to see how my legs feel tomorrow when I've got session 2 for the week. Session 2, cadence builds, 170 RPM then. Last bike session of week 3. It's called the Open 30, it's like a recovery ride. Always my favourite type of ride since basically forever. No soundtrack on this one, so I'm using this opportunity to have a look at Chris Opie's Meet the Presenter.
I do, yeah. I mean, it's a little bit...
Learning about his van at the moment. Chris Van Opie. He likes the Netherlands.
It's now time for our weekly inspiration, where you submit inspirational cycling photos for a chance to win 50, 75 or £100 in vouchers from our friends at Wiggle.
That's right. Should we crack on, Ollie, with 3rd place for this week? We have got Danny from Toronto in Canada. This is his first ride out in the snow. And you know what? We haven't got snow on the ground here, but I flipping love a snow ride. That is cool. And not only that, but you're getting outside in the elements, as we've just said. Very important.
Yeah, no, it's exciting. I like riding in the snow for like a day, and then I fall off, and then I like for it to thaw out. But that's a great photo. Thanks for submitting it. 2nd place is from Fabio Antonelli, who was left wondering where the warm weather has gone whilst out training this week.
Wow, what a great photo.
That is my kind of winter ride. That looks incredible.
That's a very cool photo. Actually, it's not his photo. Nicholas LMNE is the man who took the photo, so they're going to have to split their 75 quid or
They are.
do what you want there. I mean, don't know, it depends how much your friendship's worth, I suppose, isn't it? But there we go. I love that. That is inspiration to get outside on your bike in the winter, as far as I'm concerned. And first place, we have Corey, who sent this one in from Mount Graham, Arizona. He said he went for a solo escape, ended up above the clouds. That looks mega, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's inspired me to go and check that out and find out exactly where that is, because I don't quite want to go there now.
Yeah, funny, isn't it? Because I do love a corner, and there's not a corner in sight, but therein lies the beauty. That looks like an amazing road.
Yeah, you just can't see where it ends.
No, you can't. It just looks like it'd be like balm for the soul, wouldn't it? Just ride along there, just like, just chill out a bit. There we go. A deserved winner, Corey. There's your £100 coming your way. A reminder of how you can enter GCN Inspiration. Either use our uploader, the link to which is in the description beneath this video, or use the hashtag GCN Inspiration on Instagram. We had 2 Instagrams and 1 uploaded this week.
It's now time for cycling shorts.
We'll start cycling shorts with the news that cycling is officially good for the economy. I mean, let's be honest, we kind of already knew that, or at least we hoped we did, but still, it's nice to have it officially in writing.
It is, yeah. And this reminder came from the Journal of Ecological Economics, which, aside from being one of my favourites,
tells that with it every night,
has published a study looking at the external and private cost of cycling versus driving in the EU. And it's shown that cycling saves 24 billion euros per year, whereas the cost of driving is 500 billion euros a year.
Wow, that's pretty punchy, isn't it? Now, it basically boils down to the fact that their research shows that driving costs 11 cents per kilometre, whereas cycling has a benefit of 18 cents per kilometre. Now, unfortunately, walking has an even greater benefit than that. We'll kind of gloss over it, but they haven't, funnily enough, looked at running, which, if any of you, like me, saw the GCN video on Sunday about road pedals versus mountain bike pedals, and you witnessed Ollie, we could all see clearly that there's no benefit whatsoever there, is there?
Great technique. Come on, Ollie. Oh, yes. 15.33 seconds. Did you see that run, though?
Thanks.
My pleasure, mate. We'll come back to that later in this show.
Yeah, can't wait. But on a similar line, I saw this tweet from Motor City Live. And they say that in the Netherlands, they spend 600 million euros a year on cycling infrastructure. But this saves 19 billion euros a year on the National Health Service.
Wow, that's punchy, isn't it?
Yeah.
What's also interesting about that stat is that the average Dutch person cycles 912 kilometres per year.
That's more than Lloydy last year.
Yeah, and at a higher average power.
Well, they didn't have power meters fitted, so we can't.
No, good point. It's an
confirm
estimation, isn't it?
Or deny that.
Oh, we love you, really, Dan. Cervelo test what?
Yeah, but but well, the UK is lagging behind the Netherlands. But encouragingly, since the year 2000, cycling levels in London have doubled. Although, this is interesting, other UK cities have remained largely static.
Yeah, what's slightly pessimistic about that is that the UK cycling and walking charity called Sustrans did a piece of research themselves, and they estimated that if all other cities in the UK caught up with London, it would save our National Health Service just 319 million over 21 years, which kind of puts into perspective, if you double whatever it is, 0.5%, you only get 1, which lags somewhere behind the Netherlands' 89% people who cycle. Both estimations there, let me clarify.
Yeah, so, well, it does seem like quite a cautious estimate given that. But let's hope that, those in power take note, because there's clearly a massive benefit to cycling. On some racing news now, and, well, we were very pleased to see the return of Peter Svakoc to professional racing after he suffered a horrific crash this time last year in South Africa.
That's right, he returned to competition at the Tour of San Juan in Argentina, and it's been a long old road to recovery, that one, hasn't it? A year. He did say that the pain of racing is nowhere near the pain of his recovery, so hopefully he not only gets back to his best, but maybe he gets past it as well. So yeah, wishing him all the very best.
Back to e-racing for a moment, and something of a twist. Actual bike manufacturer Canyon will be sponsoring the first ever pro e-racing team who will be riding their virtual bikes. But they'll also be riding actual real Canyon bikes, albeit on Wahoo trainers.
Yeah, we did say that indoor cycling was dominating the headlines, didn't we? Hey, here's a thought. Do you think that indoor racers will train outdoors to get better at riding indoors in the same way that outdoor racers train indoors to get better at riding outdoors? There we go, we'll leave that with you. We digress. Anyway, 5 men, 5 women on the Canyon team will be taking part in the Zwift Community League to start with. As well as winning, they're also going to be working to build up the e-racing scene. So that will be interesting to watch how that one pans out. Right, now, cyclocross season is pretty much reaching its climax given that the World Championships are taking place this weekend in Denmark. One rider who tried his hand at the sport earlier in the year is professional downhiller Win Masters. Now, we've featured him on the channel a few times in the past because of his amazing Wheelie Wednesdays on Instagram. He's definitely worth a follow.
He was taking part in the Zonnevan Super Prestige cyclocross race, and Shimano have made a really cool video about it. So here's a clip.
I'm on the move, I'm going up. I'm a man on a mission with no missions, and I'm looking for love. Oh, I'm just looking for love. It's gotta be against the law to look this damn good. Cause baby, I feel real good, and I wish I would. It's gotta be against the law to look this damn good.
Impressive, he wasn't last.
I know, brilliant.
But fair play to Van der Poel for riding faster down the sandpit than one of the best downhillers in the world.
Yeah, that puts things into perspective, doesn't it, really? Maybe it's because Win Masters had to take his baggy shorts off for the race. Robbed him of some of his skills. Anyway, we shouldn't do ourselves down here, should we really? Because we've got a fair bit of talent. Not us, but in this general vicinity. Blake Sampson from GMBN has been out playing around on his new nuke-proof digger. I can't call it a cyclocross bike, it's basically an old-school mountain bike with drop handlebars. Very cool bike, anyway. And he's made a video for GMBN. We've got a sneak peek of it. Just don't tell him you saw it here first. Right, for Tech of the Week, we are heading, as always...
That's the Tech of the Week. I've just started it, I've just invented it.
That's a tea break sign, mate.
Yeah.
Good point, actually. Whilst we have a tea break, here's John Cannings with Tech of the Week.
Thanks, guys. Well, on the Tech Show this week, we're going to talk about a new home trainer that I think is absolutely brilliant. It's the new Elite Nero Smart Rollers. So it's fully compatible with Zwift, Trainer Road, Sufferfest, My E-Training and more via Bluetooth and ANT+. Now, rollers, they're a product I find really help with improving your core stability as well as pedaling technique. And these ones are even more realistic feeling than ever as they have a flywheel inside of them. Plus, big news from sports supermarket Decathlon, who have always been known for great value sport equipment. They've recently rebranded their top-end bikes from B-Twin to Van Rysel, which is almost Flemish for from Lille. However, it's just spelt slightly differently. Appropriately named though, as Lille is the town where the bikes are designed as well as assembled in. There's going to be 12 different models of bikes based around 2 different frame designs, including a range-topping bike fitted with Campagnolo Super Record 12-speed and also some with Ultegra Di2. I reckon we can expect some pretty impressive things. Plus, they've got a clothing range which include probably the most bling pair of shoes there is right now. So join us on Thursday for the full rundown of all the latest tech.
Thanks for that, John.
Yeah, thanks for that. It's now time for Hack /bodge. And this week we're going to begin with Holger, who's, well, he's got an old V-brake and he's turned it into a hook. What do you think of that, Si?
I'm not terribly impressed, Ollie, if I'm honest. Hooks are kind of, 10 to the dozen, aren't they? And fashioning an old V-brake into one, it doesn't even seem like a particularly good hook either.
Seems like more trouble than it's worth.
Yeah,
Bodge,
sorry, Holger,
bodge.
that's an absolute bodge. Right, next up, we've got this one, which was sent in by T. Plozec, which is sent in from Slovakia, Zlatabana. He and his wife saw this bike while going skiing. I think that's a genuine hack.
Are they tractor tyres?
It looks amazing, doesn't it?
That does look incredible. It looks like something Hellboy would cycle on.
Questionable as to whether it will move, Ollie, which I suppose would reduce its hacking status. It's more just art. But nevertheless, good art.
Yeah,
I'd say.
I think that's awesome.
Go on then, we'll give that a hack then.
That's a hack, yeah. Next up, we've got this from Stephen B. Crispy on Twitter. Now, well, I'm kind of all for bar ends, but I mean, it's a little bit far, isn't it?
Probably. I'd say that's more bodge than hack. But, all those old bar ends from the 90s have got to go somewhere, haven't they? Because they're not being used anymore.
Anyone that says, flat bar bikes lack variety of hand positions, I mean, that bike answers that.
It reminds me, have you ever seen pictures of people that grow their fingernails, till they're 20 feet long? That's what bar ends look like if you keep growing them and you don't trim them.
Bar ends that never end.
Yeah, right, bodge.
Bodge, yeah.
Next, okay. This is quite cool. This is sent in by Ezo Cycle. Found in Taipei, can carry 2 kids comfortably and can fold as well. I'm hesitant to call that a hack or a bodge because it looks like an actual production item, but nevertheless, I'm impressed. That looks wicked.
That would be cool. A nice transport solution. I think that's a definite hack.
/ production item.
Yeah.
But yeah, unlike this one.
Right, I mean, here we have got Rod Gistar, and he's, festooned his Garmin using some nicely coloured tape to his bike instead of a traditional Garmin mount. I've said it once, I've said it before. While that is nice tape, whenever tape is involved, it's a bodge.
Yeah, I think you're right. Why would you tape your Garmin system? Just stick it in your pocket. Come on. Right, next up, we got this one from Brighter Cyclist. This is quite good. My forks lacked a mounting bolt for my mudguards, and the cable ties didn't cut it anymore, so I had to adapt and overcome. There we go. Those are enormous front forks, aren't they? Why have you got so much space ahead?
There's a lot of clearance. A lot of clearance there, isn't there?
Well, yeah. That's the first thing I'm thinking about. Is have you got the wrong size wheel in your bike?
That is an almighty level of clearance. Yeah.
So it's a hack on a bodge, I think is what we're saying. you've accidentally got the wrong size wheel in your bike, but you've overcome adversity by fitting your mudguards regardless.
That is
I suppose we should applaud that, shouldn't we? Well done, Bright Cyclist. That's a hack.
And finally, we've got Eric Yara, who has posted this on Twitter, which is an old TomTom GPS device that he's stuck to his bike to make use of it on his bike.
Not use sticky tape, that's a bonus, but otherwise, a massive bodge.
Well, he's used zip ties. Again, zip ties, it's synonymous with the bodge, isn't it?
It is indeed. Well, we're finishing on a low this week. In fact, there's a pretty comprehensively rubbish week of bodges. But anyway, if you think you can do better or if you think you can do worse, both of which are perfectly acceptable on Hack or Bodge, get involved, submit it either via the uploader or using the hashtag GCNHack on Twitter or Instagram. Right, before we get on to what is coming up on the channel over the next 7 days, it's our traditional look back at some of the brilliant comments that you've been leaving under our videos from the previous 7 days. And Ollie, if you don't mind, I'm going to kick things off with mountain bike versus road pedals. A lot of people picking up on your running.
Yeah?
Paul Robertson, Ollie has clearly never ridden off-road before, or in fact, run anywhere. David Bew said Ollie's run is funnier than his accents, which isn't saying all that much, is it, David? But anyway, never mind.
I think that's actually a compliment. I think because it means David obviously finds my accents really funny.
Yeah, sure it does, mate. Anna Corrette said I never want to see Ollie run again, which, to be fair, I think most of us will disagree with that particular sentiment. I think we want to see it a lot.
Have you finished?
No, I got one more. The best comes last. Alex B said, yes, Ollie's new show, Running Weekly. I think we might need to see that written down for full effect. But there we go. Genius.
Right.
That's
well,
great.
Underneath
I'm just glad I didn't have to do that video because I think my running is far worse than yours. Anyway, never mind. I didn't. Lucky escape.
Great. Well, I'm going to get my own back now because underneath last week's show, regarding a picture of you in your earlier days sporting a mullet, Michael Albany said, "Wait, forget the mullet. Was that Cy riding peak down?"
It's a good point. I used to do that, mate, before I knew better.
Yeah. To be fair, Cy, if I had a mullet after they'd gone out of fashion, I would be wearing a cap peak down and backwards as well.
To be fair, I should have had it further down to cover my face, shouldn't I, really? So no one knew who I was. Anyway, there we go. Right. Please keep commenting on our videos. We absolutely love reading through them. Anyway, on the channel this week, Ollie, what's coming up?
On Wednesday, we have 3 killer sessions to help you drop your mates uphill. On Thursday, we have the top 10 riders to look out for at the Cyclocross Worlds, which is happening this weekend, so really excited about that. And on Friday, it's Ask GC Anything.
Yep, Saturday's video is how to design the perfect bike path. Emma went to see the people at Sustrans, we mentioned them earlier, to find out just how they do it. And then on Sunday, it's that aforementioned, can you burn 10,000 calories in a single bike ride video, which, as you well know now, that I'm really intrigued to know how that one finishes, because I can't remember.
On Monday, we've got the Racing News Show, which will be awesome because it's the Cross Worlds at the weekend as well, so that'll be great. And then, well, Tuesday, we're back again for
GCN Show. Right, it's getting towards the end of the show now, but of course, we can't leave you without giving you Extreme Corner. Now, we've had Win Masters on a cyclocross bike, we've had Blake Sampson on a drop bar mountain bike, and now we've got Leo Hausman back on a cross bike, doing some amazing stuff as well. That's got a sting, hasn't it?
Bit of a crunch, that, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's not an appropriate use for a cyclocross bike, is it really? As extreme as it is, rather him than me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, on that note, let's leave it there. Couple of quick reminders. The GCN Camp in Mallorca, come ride with us if you fancy it. That's going to be absolutely amazing. For more information, you can check out the link in the description beneath this video. Effectively, 3 amazing days riding, 4 days in a quality hotel, and some mega bants at the same time. No, I can't either, actually.
Who's going to be doing the mega bants?
Oh, we got someone coming in.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, no, don't worry.
Nice.
Don't worry, it's not us.
Yeah, and also shout out to the GCN shop. Because, well, we've still got the massive January sale on.
Wow.
It's still going on.
Well, there is a bit of January left, I guess, so we're allowed. Right, thank you very much for watching, and see you next week.